Hello everyone, I'm Mark Aston and welcome to ABC TV Sports exclusive coverage of the Foundation Cup for 1993. It's going to be a terrific year of football. 2 matches at Football Park tonight. The early game has been completed. We'll have a score and update on that a little later on in the program. We've got the second game well and truly underway. It's a big game of football. Norwood up against the Eagles, and Norwood have a comfortable lead. Joining me in commentary, Stephen Trigg, and to take up the call, David Mackay.
Thank you, Mark. 18.5 minutes played into the first term. The second match of this doubleheader, the first round of the Foundation Cup, and the Eagles 2 straight goals, 12 points, trailed the Redlegs 2 goals, 4-16. Goal scorers for the Eagles, Andrew Taylor has 1, and Lauren Shackey, who goaled just moments ago to bring the Eagles back within 4 points of the Redlegs. And Stephen Patterson has 1 for the Redlegs. He's playing particularly well. And Mark Ducker, who's leading strongly from full forward, also has 1. Ducker it was who on that occasion came out. Jonathan Robran streams after the ball, but first man there, 34 for the Eagles, was Sean Hannam, and he's quite content to carry the ball across the line.
Mark Ducker at this stage looking to show no ill effects of that ankle injury that he sustained in May of last year and missed the rest of the season. Moving very well at the moment.
19.5 minutes gone, first quarter, 2-4 to 2 goals. Norwood lead. The margin 4 points. And there's strong tackling applied by Geyer. Bozovic on the bottom of the pack. Pretty good crowd here. Quite a healthy crowd, David, for the first round Foundation Cup matches.
Well, you must say that South Australian football's in pretty healthy state. There'll be at least 15,000 people here tonight. A good sign. There's a double header, but they're obviously hungry for football. Geyer, oh, great mark taken. Michael Thompson. He only played 8 league games in 1992. He missed a lot of the season with a groin injury, but he's opened up in fine style in 1993.
Another of the 25-metre penalties that we've seen invoked so far in this game. Thompson, the recipient on this occasion.
Yes, that's a new rule for the Foundation Cup only, where a player encroaches across the mark, it's a 25-metre penalty, or if a player runs inside while an opponent is trying to take a kick, that would be a 25-metre penalty. So, yes, NFL, not frightened to try things. Number 11 for the Redlegs, Damien Mello. He was on the Swans list only a year or 2 ago. Missed a lot of last season with a shoulder injury and was dropped from the Swans list. Geyer, he's been a prominent player early for the Eagles. Clavey, back from injury also last year. Spent plenty of time in the reserves. He really found it hard finding his feet after coming back from Fitzroy, but he took an absolutely spectacular mark, a one-handed mark earlier in this game, and he also looks in fine form. Meanwhile, it's a free kick to the Eagles in defence.
2-4 to 2 goals, 21 minutes gone, so a minute at a time on. Won't be much time, I wouldn't think. Hannam got it across to his teammate, and the Eagles go into attack once again, up to right half forward. Shackey had 2 to beat there. One of them was Thompson, kicked off the ground, and it's out of bounds, right forward pocket.
Been very good for Norwood so far. Michael Thompson sitting on the back player, kicking a half behind the play. He's found several possessions so far and put Norwood back into attack.
Matthew Kluzek, number 27 for the Eagles, just running across the boundary line. It's his first game for the Eagles. He's been drafted by Melbourne, so that'll give you an indication that Neil Baum thinks he's a pretty good player. Baum, of course, last year's coach of the Eagles, now coaching Melbourne in the AFL, and has drafted a player with no senior experience, quite unusual, and Hayes, another one of the Eagles Crows contingent, comes the ball across the line. We've had 22 minutes into the first term of this Foundation Cup clash. The Redlegs 2 goals, 4-16. The Eagles 2 straight goals, 12. The margin 4 points. This is live and exclusive on ABC Sport.
Throw in at left half forward. Zimmerman. Out wide it goes, and it's Richard Kelly, I should say, who's got the footy. Not for long, though. He gives it back to Taylor. And Taylor's a long way out. Not too far out to score, I would imagine, about 70 metres. I think he agrees as well. He kicks into the forward pocket. Thompson from behind. Nothing doing there at the moment. Shackey, quick hands out wide. Schwarz, that was very quick. Hannam, short pass is very good to Neiman. So Neiman directly in front, about 45 metres out. It's quarter time here at Football Park in this late game. Round 1 of the Foundation Cup. And Neiman taking plenty of time. He's directly in front. Has improved his kicking of late. Drop punt's on its way. Looks pretty good from where we sit. It's a terrific goal by Neiman. The Eagles are 3 goals. They're 18 points. Norwood 2-4-16. The margin 2 points in favour of the Eagles.
A good finish to what was pretty much a stop-start quarter. And that was the indication on the scoreboard that it was a low-scoring game. We see here on the replay, around the corner comes an Eagles player, and he looks for and finds Neiman 40 metres out directly in front, and of course he kicked the goal. But a stop-start game resulting in a low score. As this game goes on, it's bound to free up and see some more high scores.
So the big men dominating early in the first quarter of this Foundation Cup clash. Norwood 2 goals, 4-16, trail the Eagles 3 straight goals, 18. The margin 2 points. You're viewing the Foundation Cup live and exclusive on ABC Sport.
So 3 goals, the Eagles, Norwood 2-4. And as you can see, the Norwood camp, they'd be pretty happy with that, I guess.
Well, I think, considering, of course, they've lost a few players in the off-season, but nonetheless, they're looking pretty good early. Repeating the scores, Norwood 2 goals, 4-16, trail the Eagles 3 goals, no points, 18.
At 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, join us for the best in junior tennis. 6 of Australia's top under-18 players fight out a round-robin series for the McDonald's Junior Challenge Trophy. From Centre Court Memorial Drive, Adelaide, see Australia's tennis future in action. Join us 1 o'clock this Saturday on ABC.
She's coming back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
Dunno.
Bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
Funny that.
And in the earlier match this evening, the Roosters, North Adelaide, held on to a slender 7-point lead against a determined Bloods in a very low-scoring game. The final scores, North Adelaide 5 goals, 10-40, defeated West Adelaide 4 goals, 9-33.
And we'll have highlights of that match at half-time during the second game here at Football Park between Norwood and also the Eagles. Let's have a look at the scores now at quarter-time here in this match at Football Park. This is the late game. And it was quite a handy first quarter by the Eagles in the end. 3 goals without a miss. 2 goals for 16 to the Redlegs.
And down on the boundary line, we have Nipper Christie.
Yes, thanks very much, David. Yes, the first game at Footy Park here this evening was a very interesting affair because North Adelaide opened extremely well and they looked as though they were going to take the game right away from West Adelaide. But in a remarkable turnaround, West Adelaide hit back very strongly and did appear to take as though they were going to take control of the game. But it wasn't to be in the final analysis. Where North Adelaide just hung on that little bit and they had the goal on the board right at the end of the final siren. Looking at the better players for North Adelaide firstly, and they had them spread pretty evenly all over the ground. But I was impressed with Joe Rack from a future point of view for North Adelaide. He started in ruck. Michael Redden, the captain for North Adelaide, was left off the field for the first half, and Joe Rack, I felt, did an extremely good job. Others to do well were Gerke, Wellman, Noonan, Phillips and Marshall. For West Adelaide, Fogden, a tremendous game on the ball all night. McKinnon, Porter, Banfield, Grosser and Kennedy. But that wasn't enough to beat North Adelaide, and the Roosters just got home.
Yes, thank you, David. David Christie down on the boundary line, doing a good job down there. A couple of good goals in the early part of this, the second, first quarter, I should say, of the game here, the late game. Stephen Patterson, he might have a look at that a bit later, actually.
Well, he did do very well. I take your point. He was probably the key rover on the ground. He did particularly well. He made a terrific start for the Redlegs by goaling for them. But the second quarter underway at Football Park, live to ABC Sport, and the Eagles first into attack through Clem. He was also a prominent player early in the first term. Great mark deep in defence, 42. Matthew Kelly, another of the Crows squad members. He looks pretty good early in the season. It's a high ball, though. He didn't cover much distance. Bozovic underneath that one. Plays on quickly. So the Red Leagues playing with a little bit more urgency this season than we saw them last year. Brewer doing well in defence for the Eagles. Feeds it off to vice-captain Geyer. And Geyer distributes the wall out to Totham. Totham to centre-half forward. Shackey couldn't complete the mark. To ground it goes. Oh, Burns almost threw that out in the finish. He got it out in the end to Sam Smart, who in the end got it away of sorts. Oh, Clem, there's no talk. Oh, Taylor counted it before he got it, kicked it off the ground, and what luck for the Eagles as Paul Chapman, in a welcome return to league football, marks 30 metres out directly in front.
I think Andrew Taylor will be quite pleased, having dropped a simple mark there and a long way from his opponent. But that little chip kick with the 9-iron, if you like, went straight into the hands of his teammate. And they'll have a shot for goals now from 30 out.
Paul Chapman, after playing 40 games for the Eagles, didn't play one at all last year, and he's been prominent tonight. And he's goaled. So the Eagles now 4 goals straight, 24 points, leading the Red Leagues 2 goals for 16.
Good start by the Eagles. They attacked incessantly in the first quarter. Norwood entered their forward line for several times during that first quarter for 2 goals. But at the moment, it's all the Eagles. Ball back in the centre of the ground.
8 points the margin. We've played almost 2 minutes of the second quarter. Chapman to be pretty pleased with that. A couple of valuable touches. He's been a fine contributor. Back in the centre. Clem. Quick hands. Negri. Out wider he goes. Tape. Long kick to right half forward. Good kick and a good lead and a good mark. Taylor.
Well, he wasn't going to miss that one.
Short passes on. That's terrific football by the Eagles. Totham on the end of that short pass, directly in front, about 30 metres out. Shouldn't have too much trouble with this. 4 goals to 2-4. The Eagles lead. Totham really concentrating here. Early stages of the second quarter. Drop punch on its way. Looks pretty good. Umpire goes to his left, but he indicates a goal. So Totham gets his first. The Eagles are 5 goals, Norwood 2-4.
And a good kick by Stuart Totham. Took plenty of time over it, very deliberate, kicked the goal. Spent much of last year on the wing, Stuart Totham, but this quarter looks to have opened up on the half-forward line, and he's found himself inside half-forward and scored a goal.
Very interesting that Totham, in his 4 Foundation Cup matches last year, only kicked 1 goal. In fact, in the season proper, he only kicked 5 league goals from 25 appearances. So he's not renowned as a goal scorer, but he had no hesitation in popping that one through. It looked pretty good too. To Keith Thomas, 300-game veteran, but it was stolen by Pesh. Off to Shackey, who has 1. He goes for the goals. It's 2. The Eagles bolting away. There's 6 straight goals, 36. Norwood 2 goals, 4-16, and the margin now out to 20 points.
The Eagles look well balanced with Shackey at centre-half forward. You'll see the ball's fed out. He's got plenty of time. On the run, the chip kick just over the head of the defender, through for a goal. Good work by Shackey, good work in the build-up. And the Eagles look well balanced at the moment with Shackey at centre-half forward. It's allowed Sam Philippou, who played much of last season there, to go to centre-half back.
6 straight goals by the Eagles. 36, Norwood at 2-4-16. We played 4 minutes. Second quarter. Negri and Smart. Negri's got the footy, and they've now got Negri. A lot of players in the centre. Schwarz just having a word to Big Romy, and they tell me he's done a lot of pre-season. He knows where he is this year. He's staying at the Eagles. Schwarz, left foot, under a bit of pressure. Pretty messy at the moment. Pesh has got the footy. They've got Pesh, and the umpire will come across and ball it up about 50 metres in front of the northern goal.
It's a terrific duel. Lauren Shackey, number 23 for the Eagles, at centre-half forward. His direct opponent is Craig Baum, so 2 veterans who know their way around a football field, and I'm sure that's going to turn out to be a highlight of the night. Kluzek, the youngster, playing his first senior game, gets it off to Taylor. He switched direction beautifully. That was well done, Taylor. Showed true experience. Clever. And nicely placed, gets it off to Mark Hannam. And Mark Hannam, who played 14 league games last year, for a total of 47, but he also doesn't kick too many goals, and he's marked 25 metres out, almost directly in front.
Well, the Eagles seem to be getting free very easily at the moment inside their half-forward zone. Norwood looking to attack and run down the ground and set something up, but at the same time they're leaving their opponents free. And now Mark Hannam with a shot.
Kick number 3 for Mark Hannam. The Eagles already have 3 on the board this term, and that might be their first point. It is 1 point to Hannam. The Eagles 6 goals 1, Norwood 2 goals 4.
So Jonathan Toombs to put this ball back into play. We played almost 6 minutes of the second quarter. We're watching the Foundation Cup live and exclusive right around the state. Here's Toombs. Long kick, gets good distance with that. Kelly's got it. Between the half-back line and the back pocket. Good drop punt, out very wide. Back there is Robrin. Filippo tried to tackle the Norwood player. James over the top, Totham. Now Filippo. Claby. Filippo's got Claby holding the ball.
Wasn't that a great tackle?
It certainly was a good tackle. Claby looked to give it off, then changed his mind, held onto it, and of course held onto it for far too long. Free kick to the Eagles.
Gee, aren't they looking dangerous at the moment? Yes, that was a good tackle by Filippo. And Claby just not able to get rid of it. Lovely kick inside 50. And Norwood a chance to just clear and steady, but it wasn't a good kick, or perhaps it was. It was kicked to touch. And Mello's got rid of there in that left forward pocket, left back pocket, out of bounds.
Yes, Mark, I think you assessed that pretty well. Toombs in the finish looked at his options and thought the boundary line was the better one, and that's always been the Redlegs' policy. When in doubt, go to the boundary, and that's exactly what Toombs did on that occasion. Pesh dives in desperately on top of the ball and forces a bounce.
Still congestion inside the forward line for the Eagles. Need to set something up and get themselves free here, and there's interchange being made at the present time. David Payne coming onto the ground.
Yes, coming off Billy Dolan. He has showed good pre-season form in the internal trials, but he hasn't shown a great deal tonight, but still, it's early in the season.
7 minutes, second quarter. 6-1 to 2-4. Gee, it's a caning at the moment. The Eagles looking $1 million. Shackey. Series of hand passes. And Norwood get out of trouble. Up to half-back. Scott Burns doing the good work there on half-back. And it's out of bounds.
Yeah, Scott Burns, the best first-year player at the Redlegs last year, and he seems to be going on with it. A lot of players get a second-year blue. And he has looked already in the opening quarter and a half pretty solid. We're 8 minutes into the second term as Romano Negri feeds it down the throat of Totham. It's stolen from him, however, and the Redlegs go forward. That was Bozovic. Under pressure, he went for the boundary line. The Eagles just advanced slightly. 6 goals 1. Norwood advanced slightly. Correction. The Eagles 6 goals 1. Norwood 2 goals 4.
David Payne would be onto the ground to look for some speed through that half-forward line, I'm sure.
Zimmerman is off. Dan Tokia on for Norwood. So Neil Craig ringing the changes, trying to get a combination that can haul back the Eagles. There's a long way left to go in this game.
37 to 16. The Eagles have dominated so far. There he is, Lawrence Shackey. Gee, looks fit, doesn't he? Between centre wing and left half forward. Long kick to Taylor. Got one hand to it, had 2 to beat down. They're under a bit of pressure. Eventually, Claby. With a bit of controlled haste there. He did that particularly well. And Norwood out of trouble again, up to right half forward. There's a strong mark. Take your pick. It's an Eagles mark. There was 2 of them. Negri, Geyer, short one to Clem, centre wing, east western side of the ground. Had Hannam running past. Decided to go a bit longer than that. Oh, clever mark. Clever mark.
Little Pesh.
Yes. Nicky Pesh, Teal Cupper in 1991. Kicks down toward full forward. Here's a big chance. Opportunity for the Eagles, and they score a goal. Matthew Kluzak gets his first, and the Eagles are 7 goals, 1 Norwood to 2-4.
It's a good goal by Kluzak, ex-St Michael's boy, full forward for St Michael's. He kicked the host of goals 2 years ago. Tonight he's in the forward pocket for the Eagles. He saw the opportunity, into the open goals. It was a speed test there. Got to the ball before Thomas, dribbled it through on the left leg. Well played by Kluzak, well played by the Eagles. And Lawrence Shackey at the moment providing Craig Barn with a few headaches, and indeed Neil Craig.
Matthew Kluzak certainly knows where the goals are. 24 reserves appearances last year. He kicked 56 goals. We've mentioned he's already been drafted by Melbourne, and you can see that he covers plenty of ground. And that's what the modern game is about, running. Hannam, who's also a runner, feeds it off to Pays. Gee, put Pays under all sorts of pressure. That's a dead ball, and it's a bounce. 10 minutes played into the second term. The Eagles 7 goals, 143. Norwood 2 goals, 416. And a congested pack around the bounce of this ball. And Shaki dominating. Gets the ball down to Pesh, off to Pays. Well, he tried to come back, Pays, when he didn't quite have the ball. He's done it again and pulled off the ball, winning a free kick.
Some promising signs for Norwood in respect to Brendan Clavy's return. We spoke of Mark Ducker in the first quarter and not showing any signs of his injury. But after a disappointing year last year, Brendan Clavy looks in very good touch at the moment, looks fit and well.
So there's Mark Binder, or Craig Binder, I should say, just stretching the hamstrings. He's about ready to come on. Not sure who's going to go off, but he's getting ready, the 27-year-old. Kick to a more central location. Barham got a hand to it. James away from the danger zone. Mello Pays behind him. Nothing doing in that. Gee, that Norwood player looked as though he got one a little high. Clavey, Thomas toward right half forward. No mark taken down there. Payne, who's on the field, and tying him up is Shane Brewer. Free kick. Brewer gets the hand pass away. It was holding the ball. Clem to Negri. Get into a bit of trouble, but then they get out of it. Clem, long kick in toward the pocket. It's all Norwood down there. Gee, bad mistake by the defence. Pesh tried to hand pass it away and then got caught. So it's pretty hard and rough in there.
It's also a little congested, but at the same time, the Eagles are trying to string things together. They're prepared to share the ball, and even Romy Negri got himself a piece of the action there that time.
Clavey off, Binder on for the Redleys. That was the move that was in the offing. Nick Pesh looks towards the trainer. He's obviously damaged that right hand. It doesn't look good at this stage. And Patterson wins a free kick for being held when not in possession. He was the dominant player in the opening quarter. He already has kicked 1 goal. This is kick number 7. He really has played well. Mello, front position on Pays was good play. Burns, well downfield. Gets it off now to young Anthony Eames, the new recruit. Now, Mello was upended. Free kick for him at half forward. And Pesh is coming off. 31 is Glenn Freeborn. So he's third senior game. So he's had a couple in last year's Foundation Cup, as a matter of fact. And at the back of the pack, good mopping up is Filippo. Feeds it off cleverly, Hannum. Oh, gee, how far did he run? He finally got a bounce in. Now 2, decides he'll make up for it. And it's a long ball. What a beautiful kick through half forward at the back of the pack. Kluzek couldn't quite gather it in. It's a foot race on here. Kluzek taken high, however, was Jonathan Toombs. And on the last line of defence, it's a free.
It was bad luck by Matthew Kluzek. He did everything right, kept his feet and taken the
Well, I hate to say it, what a dreadful mistake it could have been. Toombs kicked short, Taylor chipped in, Mark, snapped on the left foot, and he cannot believe that he's missed.
Well, to be fair, you're bound to find those sort of fundamental errors at this stage of the season. And the kick in now to James.
Nick Pesh just having some treatment to his right hand.
Good kick by Toombs. Dantokia. Opportunity for Burns, lost it. Back to Dantokia. He's tackled, dispossessed, and holding the ball.
Stephen, the Eagles are tackling very vigorously.
They're certainly springing a few balls free for them to mount an attack. Their tackling is very strong, and their attack on the ball is very strong.
Kick towards centre half forward. It's 44-16. Dominating at the moment. Bozovic in trouble. Clem kicks inside 50. Wrong part of town, though, because it's all Norwood, and Sam Smart will clear.
I like the look of this big fellow. He won the reserves best and fairest last year. Vice-captain the Teal Cup, only a youngster. Oh, gee, he's gangly, and he looks like he could really make an impression as the Eagles go forward. Oh, it's touched right on the line. 1 point, 7 goals, 345 the Eagles. Norwood 2 goals, 416. The margin now out to 29 points.
Norwood just can't get anything going through their midfield. Here's Kelly. You see Kelly in your picture now. The ball going through for a point, though, as Taylor comes in on the scene fairly late. But Norwood can't get anything going through the midfield at the moment. Sufficient to say, I guess, at the moment, that they're really missing McIntosh and Ash. 14
minutes gone, second quarter. Toombs to the far side of the ground. Out there is Kelly. Hannon, high kick. Taylor was behind, then in front. Opportunity now for Freeborn, who's on the ground, and Freeborn gets his first. Terrific goal. 8-3 to 2-4. The Eagles are dominating.
Well, I think the Norwood full-back there might have a look at that replay if he's got it on the video at home and say to himself, I really should have gone the mark there. down on confidence and incessantly attacking side is the Eagles at the moment. The mark was on, even though it was a contest with Taylor, and the kick around the body for a goal sees the Eagles go further ahead. Norwood have got their problems for sure.
Yes, well, there's still plenty of time for them, but yes, I think the fundamental error was that there was not enough time. But what good roving by Freeborn. Take nothing away from the Eagle forwards. Freeborn displayed terrific calm there. He was right where he should have been, at the front of the pack, took the loose ball, had the presence of mind just to steady and bent it back around the corner for his first. Just having a look at his record too, 24 reserves games last year for 22 goals. So he came third in the reserves best and fairest. He knows his way around a football field. He's just a youngster, and he displayed then some of his talent.
51-16. It's 8-3 to 2-4. The margin 35 points. Negri from right of screen. Gee, the Eagles are doing very well, aren't they? Negri already up to half forward. He ran straight through everyone. And Freeborn, a terrific goal there. And we played 16 minutes, so they're well on top at the moment. Free kick, and it's going to Burns. Straight down the centre. Long kick, got good distance with it. Hannon shrugs the tackle. Hand pass out wide. So away they go again, the Eagles, and they're building from half back. Norwood very rarely up into their forward line. Kelly out of bounds there with Hannon. It's 8-3 to 2-4.
One of Kelly's great attributes, of course, is his speed. Knocked the ball out of bounds and followed it up. Did very well.
35 points the margin in favour of the Eagles. The Redlegs have got some talent in this side, so it's not all over. Kelly goes to ground, can't get out with the ball, and again it's a bounce. Umpire Ron Bettridge. Give the umpires credit, they've done a pretty good job so far.
That's really what Norwood need here, is to change the flow of play. They need to tackle harder and put their bodies on the line a little more, just to turn the play around at the moment and stem the tide.
Terrific adjustment in their game plan too. I noticed that the runner went out and has asked them to man up, and if you have a look around the field, each Norwood player has got a single Eagle player, and that's what they weren't doing in the first quarter and a half.
We're live from Football Park, right around the state, live and exclusive, the Foundation Cup first night. And what a night it's been. Excellent crowd here, perfect conditions. Exciting first game, and this one equally so, particularly if you're an Eagles supporter, because they are dominating at the moment. Chapman, Burns, Clem, who's been very dangerous. Inside 50, hand passes off. Chapman, who's had some valuable touches as well. A terrific mark, Toombs. What a magnificent stretch of the body, one-hander. And that was a terrific mark.
Yes, you're quite right, but we know this boy has some talent. We saw him play on Tyler for Port Adelaide only last year. He kept Tyler to one solitary goal, and he showed then that he would be a player of great promise. And that mark certainly displayed some of that. Shackey, he loves those one-handed attempts. He holds off an opponent with one hand and completes the mark with the other, and normally he gets them. This time Baum had too much strength. Now again, the man of the moment, Jonathan Toombs, from centre-half back. It's a high ball to centre-half forward. Who's there? Nobody. Thompson couldn't complete the grab. It goes to ground. Tottenham into the back of Richard Kelly, and Kelly inside the 50-metre square with the free kick. It's a long ball. The lead is on. Oh, great mark taken up there. Modra it was. Well, gee, I didn't think he was going to get near that ball, but he really stretched, made the extra yard, and over the top of Steve Geyer. And this will be kick number 2.
Ben Modra, disappointing injury problems over the past couple of seasons. They tell me he's played 17 games in 5 years. Important kick.
And it kicks on its way. It's hit the post. So things not going the way of the Redlegs. Modra's point adds to the Redlegs score. They're 2 goals, 5-17. The Eagles 8 goals, 3-51.
And to extend the Modra story a little further, he played much of last year out of the back pocket. He's a very aggressive character, and no doubt loving it up forward at the moment.
Yeah, I think the reason he's only played so many or so few league games, Stephen, is that he had a reconstruction a couple of years ago, and that just really interrupted his career. But the Redleg officials are very confident he'll get back to his best. And talking of his best, Lawrence Shackey, who's dominated at centre-half forward against a pretty good opponent in Baum as well.
So Shackey shouldn't have too much trouble with this, you wouldn't think. 25-year-old has already got 2. It's 8-3 to 2-5. This is his 4th kick. He's going to kick from about 45 metres. slight angle. Everything's set up for him, though. Drop punt's on its way. It's a lovely kick. The umpire does go to the left, and he indicates a behind. 8-4 to 2-5. We played 20 minutes, second quarter.
The Eagles have been pretty well served with their recruiting. They've got Shackey at centre-half forward and Andrew Rogers back from Geelong to play centre-half back. But Filippo's doing a pretty good job there tonight. So an interesting dilemma for Bruce Winter, where you play Rogers. There's Filippo, missed that one, but he's done pretty well. Robber feeds it off to Bozovic, who goes forward. And, oh, Schwartz missed the chest mark. He thought Modra was going to complete the grab. Alan Schwartz, by gee, he was a great player for West Torrens. He then had a knee reconstruction. He went to West and he completely lost his confidence. He came back solidly as he can. He's a real character. But tonight he's not feeling at home in the full-back position. He much prefers centre-half back, and it may well be that Rogers and Schwartz can interchange between full-back and centre-half back for the Eagles.
And the Norwood defenders with time to get back in now and do some work in that zone and clog it up.
21.5 minutes, second quarter. 8-4 to 2-5. They've dominated, haven't they? Opportunity for Norwood to go forward. That was Eames. Not so, though. And the Eagles storm away from half-back. That's a kick, a good kick, too. A lot of distance with that. Up to left half forward. 2 against 2 here. Now Hannum got caught, got the hand pass away. Pays, very experienced. Oh, that was a terrific block. That was terrific football by Kelly. Didn't hold them up in the end, though. And they stormed forward again. Dantokia, oh, he just couldn't pick it up. Just waited and waited, and eventually it went out of bounds.
Really just the inspirational sort of play that Norwood need at the moment. Matthew Kelly's worked his way into this game very well from half-back. It was a fantastic smother on centre wing. But as Mark said, not quite enough to stem the tide.
As the ball comes back into play, 22.5 minutes played. Chapman has done very well. Gets off the handball to Clem, who overran that ball. Oh, he's just got a case of butterfingers. James didn't. He just came in and stole the ball, but the umpire was blindsided. Couldn't see that the ball was already clear, and umpire Bettridge calls for a bounce.
22.5 minutes. 8-4 to 2-5. And the Eagles have dominated. They've done very, very well indeed. And there'll be a ball up around about the centre-half forward position. Excellent crowd in attendance. Perfect conditions. Burns, number 21. Totten, number 10 for the Eagles. 23 for the Eagles is Lawrence Shackey, who's had a lot of good touches.
Very interesting tactics, Mark, by the Redlegs. They're just bottling it up now. They know that the Eagles cannot be allowed to get another quick goal before the end of the quarter. They already trail by 35 points, and a goal here would really make their task impossible. Chapman, a hurried kick forward. Now, where does it run? It runs to Baum. Baum, a hurried left foot kick, goes forward. They need to mount a challenge, the Redlegs. Romano Negri sitting back, one kick behind the play, goes for the safety of the boundary line, and yet again we'll have a throw in.
Norwood doing exactly as you say at the moment, looking to congest the play, slow it down, try and get the run of the play for themselves and get a few balls free to some runners, because at the moment it's all the Eagles.
Almost 24 minutes gone. Big knock there by Shackey, and there's the siren. So the margin at half-time is 35 points.
Well, it was a quarter where Lawrence Shackey got on top in centre-half forward. Andrew Taylor had a good quarter at full forward. Kluzak out of the pocket. They had a winner at centre-half back in Sam Filippo, and the Eagles did it all very well during that quarter to see them stretch a lead to about 6 goals. At the moment, Norwood lacking some run, lacking winners through the midfield. They're struggling up forward. They started promisingly, but at the moment they're just breaking down through that midfield and forward zone, and they'll need a big lift through this third quarter.
The Foundation Cup Series is coming to you live and exclusive right around the state on ABC Sport.
They reckon she's coming back.
Yeah?
Yeah, on the telly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it'd be good to see her.
Yeah.
Really good.
Who is she?
Well, I don't know, really.
News is not a commodity. It's not there to make money, nor to deliver an audience to advertisers. It's there to bring you the information, the analysis that makes sense of our world. ABC News. News with depth, from specialists in their fields, without commercials, from around the globe. It's there for you right across Australia. ABC News, nightly at 7.
Now settle back and have a look at some highlights of the North Adelaide-West Adelaide game, the earlier game from Football Park.
Provides the option. Now Perkins with the left leg. Looks to be carrying something of an injury. Sets it up, and the ball's taken by Fogden on the back play.
Yes, he looked as though he wanted to go off at one stage, Perkins, but now see that he's heading back into the fray, so perhaps all's not well with him, but we'll monitor that. Great Mark Patterson screaming out from centre half forward. Now the lead's on, and he puts it in nicely, beautifully placed, and a fantastic mark, Chris Palmer.
And now Tim Perkins going off the ground. He's going to be replaced by Damien Squire, who was a very good performer in the first half. Not a good kick, though. Across the face of goals it goes, and a beautiful mark taken there by Greg Mellor. Gee, do you think he didn't get up over Mick Redden? That's no small feat, because Michael's about 6'4", and up over the top Mellor went and took himself a terrific mark.
So Mellor, a left footer, only a youngster, missed most of last season with injury, stabs at that one, and the goal umpire has a good look, and he indicates 1 point. West Adelaide 2 goals 9. Inaccurate kicking might cost them this game. Big Tim Symes on the outer wing. It's been pretty impressive. Comes to West Adelaide from Benalla. Doug Thomas has been chasing him for a couple of years. Now Mellor, a short pass, beautifully put, and again it's big Chris Palmer. Hasn't he shown some good form?
He has, a 100-goaler from Hackham in the southern suburbs. Good strong mark, as you'll see here in front of the eyes. Gerke was right with him. No complaints from the fullback there.
Let's just see how his accuracy is. Stays over the ball nicely, so the kick looked good off the boot. And the goal umpire agrees. So West Adelaide hit the front 8.5 minutes into the final term. They're 3 goals 9-27. It's a 2-point lead.
Now Grosser. Grosser has some time. This is not a very good kick, but it does come out towards the boundary line. Barrett leads in the race for the ball. Picks it up in front of Banfield, but the Banfield tackle's a good one. Doesn't prevent him from getting the ball towards Phillips now. The Phillips kick is under some pressure as well. Now towards Hart. Hart's got some time, but drags it across his body. And the coach of North Adelaide won't be happy with that. 1 more point to the score. Now Filkey to Kennedy. Kennedy's caught. He's still got enough time to find Kerr. Well done in there that time by Devon Perry. And now Hollett. Towards Bennett, who's come back onto the ground for this, the last quarter. North Adelaide have lifted the tempo as Bennett sidesteps, sets sail towards the goals, right up to the square, and Dittmar's taken a terrific mark. 2 metres out from goal. Great mark, Michael Dittmar. 1 goal to Dittmar so far, and he'll line up for one of the most important kicks for the night for his second.
Well, the fans now on the edge of their seat. And who says that these early season games are not important? There's about 25,000 in sponsorship alone racing on this kick, and Dittmar puts it through. Bends it back on the left foot for his second. North Adelaide 4 goals 9, 33 lead. West Adelaide 3-9-27. The margin now 6 points, 1 straight kick.
Coming up to the 17-minute mark of this, the last quarter. Fogden with Redden this time. Fogden's done a good job against Redden, Rack and McCarthy. Redden this time. Phillips only as far as a West Adelaide opponent. Now Kennedy, who we spoke of a moment ago. He'll be much better for this outing, Michael Kennedy. The ball swept forward to Filthy, who's gone a little quiet. Kerr now over the top, looking for Grosser, who's resting in the pocket. His quick kick up towards the teeth of goals, and in front is Patterson. Patterson in front of Sean Wellman's taken a good mark. 45 metres out, he'll have the kick from. Here you see he made front position, falling, took the good mark, even though Sean Wellman was right on him. And Patterson now with his kick, 45 metres out.
He's a big, strong man, 140 games to his credit. And when he gets in front, he's a very difficult man to shift, as Wellman found out in that instance. 35 metres out, almost directly in front. A goal here levels the score, and that's exactly what he's done. So 18 minutes into the final term, West Adelaide 4 goals 9 and locked it away with North Adelaide 4 goals 9. And this game will go right down to the wire.
Phillips on the mark. It's a congested forward line for West Adelaide, but Perugini goes forward. Pack of players setting themselves, and again Patterson. But a good mark's taken there by Soderstrom, who's been one of North Adelaide's very good players tonight.
Wearing Stephen Sims' old jumper. He hasn't done it a bad job either. Bennett has come onto the ruck, and he's quietened the effects of Fogden. Nicely placed to Redden. Now Redden feeds off to Barrett. Barrett has plenty of pace, and he'll need to use it all. Gets it off nicely to Holland. Holland will blast the ball long to centre half forward. Who's there? Big McCarthy, but chipping in the little man Simpson, just inside the 50-metre line. So North Adelaide were attacking, but thwarted by Simpson. Oh, nice mark taken there. That was Devon Perry, former Geelong player. Left foot kick goes short. Who's got the mark? It's Phillips. He plays on quickly. Oh, this is dangerous. Mancini in trouble. Josh Mail goes to ground. The umpire's called play on. It's left to Michael Godden to feed it out, and Ravisi feeds it wide now to Filkey.
Wasted opportunity from North Adelaide. They really had chance there to score. Now Bennett's got himself into the back of his West Adelaide opponent. Fogden looks to be in trouble in the middle of the ground, but Kennedy's taken the ball, and there's a free kick paid to the outer side. I see Mr. Jeans on the mark, paying a free kick to West Adelaide. And it looks like Grant Filkey's to take it. Centre wing. At the 20-minute mark, approaching time on, Grant Filkey looks short and finds Banfield. Banfield's been a good player as well.
Loose checking by North Adelaide. Darryl Hart won't be happy at all with that, and he's having a good look from the forward pocket, I can tell you. So there'll be words said about that after this match, win, lose or draw. Redden, gee, almost a throw. Barrett feeds it off. They're running. We've mentioned earlier, this is where North Adelaide are dangerous. They run the ball so cleverly from defence, and it's Porter, one of West Adelaide's best players yet again. He slows down the advance of North Adelaide. A long ball now. Underneath this one, Symes too far under it. Redden couldn't complete the grab, but it's Barrett again. Hasn't he come into the game? Sanders, they're running. This is dangerous. Wide to half-forward flank. The target is Phillips. Over that player's head. Hart paddles it cleverly off. McCarthy, give it over the top. He does so. Phillips can go into the open goal. Lines them up and bang! It's through. 21 and a half minutes into the final term, and Brendan Phillips goal.
A terrific goal by North Adelaide. The experience counting there. Redden settled things in the back line. Bennett's doing a good job now. Hart settled them on the forward line. And finally, the experience of Phillips under pressure, steadied himself from about 30 metres out and kicked a very good goal. It's put North Adelaide 6 points up, and there really can't be much time on left in this game.
At three-quarter time, North were 3-7-25, West were 2-7-19. So North Adelaide have been able to advance by 2 goals 2, and 2 goals 2 also to West Adelaide. So it's been a low-scoring encounter, but honours have been fairly even. Kennedy, you wouldn't want to take on big Michael Redden. He's got a bit of fire in him, Mark Kennedy. Redden, cleverly done, down to Holland. Quick kick forward. Well, vital touches late in this term to North Adelaide, and Hart now, can he goal? It's beyond doubt if he does. No, again off line, and that's 4 points. As the siren sounds, it's North Adelaide by 6 points.
A good win.
Darryl Hart having an irregularly off night, certainly off target with 4 points to his tally. Quarter by quarter, North Adelaide 1 goal 3. They started very slowly. West Adelaide led by 5 points at quarter time. At half time there was only 1 point in it as North Adelaide came back, but it was the third quarter where they just kicked that extra goal to get clear of West Adelaide and kept West Adelaide goalless. And in the final term, the Roosters added 2 goals 3, and West Adelaide were able to add 2 goals 2. So in the finish, a 7-point margin, in what really neither coach would have been terribly happy with all of that, Stephen.
No, it was a first outing for the year for both sides, of course, and it was a scrappy game. An odd scoreline, really, considering that North Adelaide did all of the attacking through the first part of the game, and West Adelaide did the scoring. And then towards the end, when North Adelaide were in trouble, they just pulled out a little bit extra and found their experienced players got them through in the end.
And you've got the goal scorers for us from that early game.
I have indeed. Brendan Phillips played very well off of his wing and on the ball, and he scored 2 goals. Their full forward, Michael Dittmar, scored 2 goals, and Peter Krieg got a single.
And what about best players? It would have been pretty hard to pick in a pretty scrappy game, really.
They were hard, but I spoke just a moment ago about Phillips, and he, I thought, was terrific. He tackled hard, he ran well, plenty of possessions tonight. Peter Krieg was good in his 250th game before he went off of the ground, and perhaps the best of the rest for them was Stephen Barrett, who from his half-back provided plenty of drive.
Well, I thought Simon Porter at centre half-back for West Adelaide really did a terrific job, and he was one of the reasons that North Adelaide were unable to score any real score.
Well, I felt that Simon Porter was by far and away West Adelaide's best player. McKinnon was very good, Banfield was good, Mellor was good.
Isn't he always, Banfield? Terrific player, isn't he? Anyway, straight after the match, Nipper Christie got this interview with the North Adelaide coach.
Darryl, any win's a good win, but were you satisfied with the performance this evening?
Oh yeah, it was always good to have your first win as a coach, so obviously we're going to play better, and I hope we play much better, but yeah, it was good to be in front at the end. I was very happy.
Darryl, you started Michael Redden on the bench. Was there any significant idea behind that?
Oh no, we just wanted to have a look at Joe Rack, and I wanted him to play the first half. Michael was getting a little bit older and a bit slower, so we just wanted the pace to be a bit slower when we brought him on, but I was really happy with what Joe did. Joe's learning, and he's got to play as much footy as he can, so we just wanted to give him a taste today, and he'll have another run with our reserves tomorrow. And yeah, he showed a bit, I thought, early.
What about other significant points in your game this evening, Darryl?
Oh, there was a lot of errors. Apart from that, I don't know. Oh, I thought our endeavour was really good, and our tackling and desperation. The first game of the year always is that, because it is the first game and it'll take a while to get the chinks out of the armour, but I thought our endeavour was excellent, and I'm looking forward to the next game, because you would hope that our skill level will improve, and I think the opposition would be thinking the same thing.
Darryl, you obviously spent a lot of time in the forward pocket this evening. Was that to have a look at the overall game plan? Oh
no, that's where I'd hope to play this year. I'd hope to play a hell of a lot better than what I did tonight, but I thought our 2 rovers, Timmy Noonan and Josh Mayle, did an excellent job, so hopefully I can stay there, and or hopefully I can play a bit better than what I did tonight.
Darryl, congratulations, and look forward to catching up with you throughout 1993.
So, mate, thank you.
He's one of those players, isn't he, that he's never happy with whatever he does. Had he kicked straight tonight, he could have kicked 4 goals. He was just a bit off target. And
a very dry sense of humour, as you saw there. Darryl Hart, the first playing coach since Paul Weston in 1987 at West Torrens.
Well,
and I can tell you that this coaching game is very hard without having to be on the ground and playing. I know that Darryl Hart's looking to be in the forward pocket full time.
Do you reckon he can do it?
I'm looking forward to the tight games. When it gets very tight in the big games, I'm looking forward to seeing whether he can resist the temptation of getting himself involved in midfield work.
I was going to say, I think he can hold down centre pretty well, but still, there's a lot of the season left to go, and there's a lot of footy left. In fact, we're going to be covering all of it. We'll be on the road right throughout the Foundation Cup. Mark Aston and you are travelling to Port Augusta tomorrow, Mark.
Yes, that's right, David. Round 1 of the Foundation Cup continues tomorrow at 10:20. Highlights on ABC television, the match between Port Adelaide and Central District from Port Augusta. It'll be a long drive, but an enjoyable one. I'm going up with Stephen. The game starts at 5:30, and on Sunday at 2 o'clock, South Adelaide and Glenelg at Kingscote, Kangaroo Island. That's the only game the ABC won't be covering.
Well, remember, of course, that Glenelg were last year's Foundation Cup premier. They played Sturt in the grand final. Sturt didn't do too very well. Glenelg went on to play off in the grand final, and they played terrific football. Now, meanwhile, down on the boundary, Nipper Christie's got a past McGarry medalist with him.
Yes, Michael, well, your beloved Norwoods are looking down the barrel at the moment, 35 points in arrear just prior to the start of the third quarter. Where do they go from here?
Well, Nipper, I think all they've got to do is just keep at it and work hard. You know, we've got a young side, we've got a reasonably inexperienced side when you look at what the Eagles have presented us with tonight. First quarter wasn't too bad. We've got no real firepower at the moment. I suppose it's early days, but I think what Neil Craig's trying to get into our blokes is just to continually have a real go, and not a go as half-heartedly. You know, if you're going to play league footy and consistently winning league footy, you have a red-hot dip. If you do that, you've got half a chance.
What players are to come back into the side that will bolster the performances of the side through the Foundation Cup, Michael?
Well, you've got Macca, of course. I think he'll probably play next week. Scott Robertson, he's a bit of a back at the moment. You've got Kieran Ryan, who's had a few bad runs with injury. Tommy Warhurst, myself. So there's a few to come back in, but they're a bit underdone at the moment. So really, you need a bit of match fitness, I suppose, trial games to really get into the swing of things, and you might need a couple of games.
What about yourself, Michael? You said you ought to come back into the side. When would that be? Have you any indication at the moment?
Wish I knew, Nipper. It could be a while yet. It's just a matter of getting the problems sorted out and getting a bit of fitness under the belt. So you get that on the track, which I haven't been able to do since I did my knee about 5 weeks ago. So it's a matter of do the swimming, get a bit of reasonable fitness, and then get a bit of touch work and really put in once you go 100%.
As far as Gary Smallridge is concerned, out with the Norwood side for the first time this year, of course. What difference can you see him making to your side? A little bit more strength, perhaps?
Oh, without a doubt. He's unfortunately, I think, did a slight driver going back a couple of weeks ago, but he's big, he's strong, and he has a go. So, not that too many people that play league football are scared of someone his size or bulk that really has a go, but you know, he can hurt a few blokes fairly, get in hard, and any guy that's aggressive and hard at the ball is the hardest player to stop.
I guess, Michael, looking for big things in the second half. Do you think they can come back?
Well, it just shows the character of a side. If they can come back, you know, it might be a bit tough for them to win from here. But as I said earlier, if they just have a go, which we did last year against the Eagles, and only lost by a couple of goals, about this margin down at one stage last year, and you know, it might be all right.
Thanks for your time, Mike, and hope to see you back in action very shortly.
Thanks, Devo.
David Christie speaking there with Michael H. A big celebration at Football Park tonight. Earlier in the evening, the 11th millionth patron passed through the gate, and what a surprise for the lucky spectator, greeted by SANFL President Max Bashir. Joan Dietke has won the key to Football Park. I wonder how big it is. There's Big Max. Well, not so Big Max, handing the cheque across. That key to Football Park includes dinner with 3 guests in the Football Park Convention Centre. And what about this? Joan Dietke has also won a trip for 2 adults and 2 children to Honolulu in Hawaii, courtesy of Continental Airlines. The 11 millionth spectator. Joan Dietke, congratulations. What a wonderful effort. I know David Mackay went through the gates about 20 times tonight. No luck.
I did, Mark, and I tell you what, I didn't get a kiss from Max Bashir, and I didn't get a trip to Honolulu either.
Well, maybe you were lucky in one respect and unlucky in another, David. Congratulations to Joan, and I'm sure she'll enjoy that.
Meanwhile, back with the quarter-by-quarter scores, Norwood in the first term, 2 goals, 4-16. Trailed the Eagles 3 straight goals, 18. At half-time, it was Norwood 2 goals, 5-17. Trailing the Eagles 8 goals, 4-52. The margin 35 points. Having a look at the goal scorers for Norwood, there are only 2, so it's fairly easy. Stephen Patterson, who played particularly well in the first quarter, has 1. Mark Ducker, who led strongly from full forward, has the other. And for the Eagles, it's a bit of a procession. Lauren Shackey is the main goal scorer with 2. On the board to Stuart Totham, Paul Chapman, Andrew Taylor, Matthew Kluzik, Glenn Freeborn and David Neiman. So the Eagles doing pretty well up forward, Mark.
Yes.
And dominating the scoreboard.
Yes, too right, and Paul Chapman, a couple of good touches in the first half of that match, number 12 for the Eagles. Got a replay of him coming up very shortly. Paul Chapman, he's played 40 games, he's a 20-year-old, and this was quite outstanding. That's Thomas kicking across the face. And
well, it's interesting. Keith Thomas has played 300 senior games and he's just starting his season, but Paul Chapman is a youngster. Now this is where Taylor dropped the ball, kicked it, and fortuitously it was marked by Chapman. And we mentioned during the call that he didn't play a league game at all last season, and really he's opened up in fine style this year. He was a favourite at West Torrens, but he has taken a little bit of a time to settle in with the new Eagles.
Okay, so the start of the second half here at Football Park. The Eagles, it's been a procession so far. They've dominated this football match. We've already played about 50-odd minutes, and it's 8-4 to 2 goals, 5, 52 to 17. Lawrence Shackey has played a big part in that game, Stephen.
He has. He's been very impressive and a focal point for the Eagles at centre-half forward. Norwood this quarter, I'm sure Neil Craig gave them the message at half-time, will need to work harder through the midfield. Their run's not there, and they're not putting enough pressure on the Eagles at this point in time.
Stephen, I'd be interested as a former coach. What would you have said to the boys at half-time?
Well, I'd be looking for a harder, more work rate through the midfield. I think that's really the area that they're in trouble.
Okay. So former Sturt coach Stephen Trigg saying that the Redlegs need to go straight down the centre. I agree with that. This is Matthew Kelly taken to ground, and that's been a highlight of the Eagles game tonight. Their fierce tackling and their attack on the man with the ball. Umpires Ron Bettridge, Mark Westgarth in charge of this match. The lights highlighting a picturesque football park, and the Eagles showing what good form they're in already. They finished the season in fine style. They were just unlucky in the finals under Neil Baum, but already they're showing fine form, and the Redlegs need to fight back. They had good form early in the season last year, the Redlegs. They faded away late in the season, and can they come back?
52 to 17, almost a minute gone in the third quarter. Dantokia and Clem having a few words to one another, and Clem gets the free kick out of that. Taylor, long lead, lovely kick, just over the top of Taylor. And the defenders get back. Number 53 for the Eagles is Stephen Ziller. Goal. Terrific football.
Goal number 1 to Ziller. Read the ball well off hands. Toombs was right with Taylor, and the contest was a good one. But Ziller read it well, came around in front. You see on the replay, underneath the ball goes Taylor. Toombs very close. Now Thompson didn't have the leg speed. Around came Ziller with the left leg and puts it through. And the Eagles have started the third quarter in just the same fashion as they finished off in the second. They're looking very dangerous up forward. They've got too much leg speed through the midfield, and they've got too much attacking method up forward.
Ziller, far too much pace for Baum and Michael Thompson. The lack of pace perhaps in the Red League defence is a worry for Neil Craig. Desperate work, Clem. Richard Kelly, 35, keeps the ball in the area. Schwartz and Matthew Kelly just had a little teat-to-teat behind play, but Richard Kelly comes up with the free kick at midfield. It's a long ball. He's retired from cricket to concentrate on football, Kelly. He had a late start to the season last year. He hasn't done a great deal in this match so far. Thomas talked out of retirement. Thankfully for the Redlegs, they have a very inexperienced side, and Neil Craig will point to that, particularly the poor finish of last year, but they have some talent. Brewer, who did well in the first half, now gathers it in. Forced into error by Robran. Taken to ground by Dantokia. Now Dantokia looks to hold the ball in, and it's a bounce.
No shortage of enthusiasm from either side at the moment. They're really throwing themselves into the action, and as you can see here again on your screen, we have a congested forward line. Plenty of players around the ball. Not easy to get a kick at the moment.
Neiman to do the ruck work for the Eagles. Clem, who's had a lot of very valuable touches. Payne, now Modric. He rode that bump magnificently, but then got caught. Now a chance for the Eagles. They're so cool in defence, aren't they? They're just doing it so easily. Schwartz, the captain. Now Filippo. Away they go. Chapman. Long kick towards centre-half forward. Out steams Taylor. He's a long way off that football, though. Hannum. Kelly was with him. Gee, Taylor's got it in the end. Held on to, surely. Yes. 50 metres out. 45-degree angle. Goes long with the left foot into the pocket. Kluzak. Out of bounds. Far side of the ground. Scott Burns coming off. Perhaps an injury. We might see if we can get that from David Christie a little later. 9-4 to 2-5.
Billy Dolan coming on. 3.5 minutes played into the third term. 9-4-58 the Eagles. 2 goals, 5-17 the Redlegs. And still that ball being bottled up. Shaki 23, 27 is Zimmerman. Tremendous young player for the Redlegs. Hasn't had a great deal of time on the oval tonight. Having a look at some of these young players, and here's one, Brett James, the acting captain tonight. Third in the best and fairest last year, and he's only played 63 games, so he's got plenty of experience behind him for one so young. Now the Eagles mount a challenge again, going forward. This is Ziller over the top of the ball. 30 is McEnany, gets it out cleverly. 31 was Freeborn, getting it forward. Now having a snap for goal was Kluzak, and Kluzak in his first senior game has kicked his second goal. This youngster is destined for greatness.
Certainly a good goal by Kluzak, but it was on the end of some particularly good sharing of the ball by the Eagles through their half-forward line. You'll see on the replay now as there's a congestion. One quick reflex, another around the corner now for Kluzak. The ball bounces favourably for him through for a goal. And every time that ball goes up into the Eagles forward line, they look potent, they look dangerous, they look like they're going to score. And we've said it before, but Norwood struggling midfield.
47 points the margin now, 64 to 17. 5 minutes, third quarter. Norwood have kicked just 2 goals. Mello went without it. Patterson. Now Kelly, high kick. What can they do? They've been outclassed all over the ground. Payne out of bounds on the far side. So this crowd, I would suggest, is stunned at the moment. Perhaps Eagles fans might have been confident.
Well, they have a right to. The Eagles finished second at the end of the minor round last year, and in the 22 rounds, they won 15 and lost 7. The Redlegs were 9 from 22 in the win department. They finished 7th. A disappointing year. The second season in a row they were outside the finals, but they won 4 of their first 6 games last year, so they started the season in terrific form. Perhaps this year Neil Craig is going to start his side a little slower.
And we're live and exclusive from Football Park, right around the state. Foundation Cup. for 1993. Chance for Freeborn, who's kicked a goal. Awkward kick. Schwarz got caught. Very good tackle there by James.
Gee, I like James. Isn't he a hard little player? Plays out of the back pocket and plays it hard.
Forced the error. 10-4 to 2-5. It was unfortunate for Schwarz. He was heading toward goal. Neiman in front. Patterson. Schwarz has got him. 64 to 17. We played 6.5 minutes of the third quarter.
It looks like David Neiman's going to drop onto the back play at the moment, but the contest from Neiman's been terrific. His season 1992 was fantastic after he burst onto the scene in 1988, and the Eagles looking for big things from David Neiman in 1993.
Yes, let's remember Neiman's only a youngster. He played his first senior game at 16 and he kicked 5 or 6 goals on debut. I think a lot of people expected far too much of him, but now he's maturing, and there is a happy Eagle fan. Why wouldn't she be?
Yes, you can understand it, can't you? I wonder if she came here as confident as some others. We were talking to some people, in particular the fitness coach, or one of the fitness coaches for the Eagles, and he was very confident. Here's another chance for them.
Kluzak,
bang, straight through the middle. So Kluzak gets 3. Gee, he's been impressive. 11-4 to 2-5. It's 7 scoring shots to 15.
Well, if I can take you back to 1989, I saw Matthew Kluzak playing at full forward for St Michael's College. He really provided the focal point for them, and he was the standout player in a very strong St Michael's side, even back then. And at the moment, he looks to have carried that form on. He's developed. He looks a lot stronger. He looks very fit, and he's a very capable footballer.
So at the 7.5-minute mark of the third quarter, the Eagles 11 goals 470 lead Norwood 2 goals 517, and you're watching some of South Australia's best football. This is akin to the Crows demolishing North Melbourne on Wednesday night, but I think perhaps the Eagles have got it all their way. Schwarz goes forward. Oh, great mark, the big fella Jonathan Toombs. We saw him take a spectacular one-handed diving mark earlier, and now he shows us that he has the range to go high. Oh, a big pack. Now, how do you pick a free kick out of that? It's difficult, but the advantage allowed to play. So the Eagles again into an attack. Tottenham off the ground. Toombs feeds it out to Binder. Now they're playing the boundary, the Redlegs, and what a dreadful error, but it is early in the season.
And it's symptomatic of the pressure that Norwood are under at the moment. Every time they look at possession, they're under pressure, forced to panic, or at least forced to rush their disposals, and inevitably going astray. 53
points the margin. It could be 59 after this kick by Clem. 12 kicks and 5 hand passes. Lines them up from about 40 metres and bangs it through. This is a procession. Clem gets his first. It's 12-4 to 2-5, and we've played almost 9 minutes.
Great credit to the Eagles at the moment, because as my eyes scanned the field, there were many Norwood players shunting back into that defensive zone to try and block the play up. But for all of that, the Eagles are still finding some space, as Clem found himself space there and finished off. But at the moment, certainly it's the Eagles by plenty.
9.5 minutes in, the Eagles 12-4, Norwood 2 goals 5. The action come to you live on ABC Sport. And again, it's the Eagles into attack, this time through Mark Hannum. He's upended. Michael Christian, a hurried kick to the outer side, and that is indicative of the pressure that they're under. Now, number 40 is Anthony Eames, the recruit from the VFA, a former medal winner in the VFA, in fact, and a former North Melbourne under-19 player. The Redlegs are high ball forward. Gee, they're not giving their forwards much opportunity at all. Now over the top of that, there's Brett James. Gee, he's down from the back pocket. He's everywhere, this bloke. Acting captain tonight, and he's leading by example. Now Jonathan Robran, cleverly off Brett James. Well, he put Modra under plenty of pressure. To ground he goes. Now number 5 is Jamie Tate for the Eagles, and he might have won himself a free kick, or is it a bounce?
Well, it's an understatement to say that Norwood need a spark at the moment. Neil Craig, no doubt, looking to find some players for particular positions and settle the side down, but at the moment they really need a spark midfield. Matthew Kelly's doing well off half back and wouldn't be a bad player to put into the centre of the ground at the moment.
Just over 10 minutes, third quarter, and the margin 59 points in favour of the Eagles. A free kick. They've got a chance here, Norwood, to score from a free kick. Thomas directly in front. Fourth kick coming up. Look at that for a record. The 31-year-old has played over 300 games. That's outstanding. So Thomas lines them up from about 45 metres. He's jagged it to the right. It's out of bounds on the full, and I guess that's indicative of the way Norwood are going tonight.
It is indicative, but Keith Thomas, I recall a 1984 grand final here, and if I can reminisce that Keith Thomas running the same way as the ball, the man was an inspiration. He's been an inspiration for many years at Norwood. That one, perhaps not his best kick, though.
Well, we look at the Redlegs. They have Ace over 300 games, as does Thomas. Then it falls away pretty quickly. They've lost Roger Murdoch with over 100 games. They've lost a bit of experience around the place, and McIntosh has sorely missed at centre field as Brewer, Freeborn, was it, for the Eagles, goes forward. In fact, it was Brewer. Now Clem over the top of it. He caught one in the back, but the umpire's allowed the play to go on. Oh, it's desperate work in there. No short handballs, but there's a trip, said the umpire. This is umpire Ron Bettridge. He's picked one out. It's Redlegs, free kick. It went to Dan Tokia. Ben Dolan on the left boot. Nicely placed ball. And he's found Brett James at half forward. So they're looking for some movement. Well, they're pugging the boundary line. It seems to be their problem. Symptomatic of being forced wide by the Eagles' defence. Brewer, oh, clever handball. In the finish, Zilla was able to take it on the half volley. He did well in the end. Well done on that occasion, Sean Hannum, but the boundary line beckons and it's over.
Well, what a terrific piece of play that was. Both sides really attacking the ball strongly, and when possession was taken, the tackling was very strong. Really elevated the pace at the moment, Norwood, and they need to do that, of course.
76-17. Norwood haven't scored a goal for a long, long time. We've played 12 minutes, third quarter. Just got to try and get something here, Norwood. They just can't seem to make anything work at all. They're struggling all over the place, and the Eagles have dominated, and they've really dominated, I guess, from about the 4 or 5 minute mark of the start of the game.
They have, and we spoke a moment ago about changes. It looks like Neil Craig's sitting tight with what he's started the game with, apart from 1 or 2 very minor changes, minor alterations to his side, but it looks like he's prepared to sit pat and make some players learn a lesson or 2 here. But it really would be a case of shifting some players to get some spark, I would think, at the moment.
Well, I think he's looking to develop a game plan as Robin feeds it off to Modra. Oh, great defensive work. It's terrific work by the Eagles. That player was Mark Kennedy. Desperately held his body over the top of the ball. And the Eagles have kicked the last 11 goals without response from the Redlegs. That's an indication of their dominance of this match.
I wonder what Neil Craig said at half-time.
I don't think it would be repeatable at this stage, but it may well be that he's taking the view that this is a trial game. Let's have a look at a few guys and just have a look at them in a few positions. There are some lessons to learn. There's a lot of fitness to be gained. We don't know how much work they've done. I know the Eagles have already had 2 or 3 trials.
Schwartz, who's been very good. Geyer, likewise, hand pass over the top. Freeborn from the back pocket. Gets good distance with it. Barnes storms after it. One of the veterans, 31 years of age. We thought he was 32, David, didn't we? And he was very quick when we were down in the rooms earlier. 31 I am, he said.
He wanted to let us know who he was, and there's nothing wrong with a bit of confidence.
14 minutes, third quarter. Throw in at left half forward for Norwood. 12-4 to 2 goals, 5. Eames is number 40. Thomas, good tackle.
Coming back to Freeborn, didn't he also tell us he was the ugliest footballer in the room?
I don't know about that.
He did, but he's got a terrific sense of humour.
Very good.
There's going to be some very sore Norwood footballers when they finish this game, because the Eagles' tacking is absolutely superb.
It's a credit to Bruce Winter how he's turned this side out. Remember, of course, that he is a former Norwood player himself, Bruce Winter. He's taken over from Neil Baum, and he's had a distinguished career as a coach in the reserves competition. He's taken a couple of reserves premierships, including the Eagles reserves last year. So now, Payne. David Payne had a back problem most of last year. This is his first kick, but he knows where the goals are. But it's endemic, isn't it? Nothing going the way of the Redlegs. 2 goals, 6-18. The Eagles, 12 goals, 4-76. And we're 15 minutes into the third quarter.
Player of David Payne's ability should have kicked that goal. We see on your screen now Matthew Cluzet getting some running repairs, but David Payne, in his 10th season of league football, would have realised the importance and would be disappointed that he couldn't convert it.
So the kick from Schwartz again is short. This time it's come off. Sam Filippo. He hasn't done a bad job at centre half back. He looked to play on now, called to by the umpire. Kick number 3, forced onto the left boot. It goes wide to the outer side. Shackey pushed off the ball with strength by Baum, and Baum wins the mark. Outer side, kick number 5 for Baum. Well beaten early by Shackey, but really has come back nicely. And Neiman, the youngster, a good solid mark. Now this is Jamie Tate, best first-year player last year, 5th in the club best and fairest, and drafted by Richmond. You can see why. Kick number 6. Really is a fine loping player with plenty of aggression. Keith Thomas, he's not a bad player either. Had a stint in the AFL with Fitzroy. Richard Kelly, a high ball to full forward. 29, Sam Smart, couldn't make the ground. Streaming through Geyer, did pretty well in the finish. Kennedy applies pressure, so too does Zilla. The ball goes towards the boundary line. 36 is Mark Hammond. Number 2 for the Redlegs, Stephen Patterson, and again the ball's across the line.
We called Sam Smart there. We haven't seen much of him tonight, but it's 6 feet and 6 inches tall and a Crows draftee, Teal Cup 1992, and a first-year medicine student. There's a few doors open for Sam Smart at the moment.
Yes, I think the Redlegs will need a medicine man currently to get themselves out of this predicament. It's a high ball. Oh, good forward work by Modry. Took front position in front of Schwartz, but couldn't hold the mark. Now Schwartz evades the tackle nicely. Gee, the Redlegs are running from defence, and it's a bit like Port Adelaide. They're building from defence, particularly half-back. They're running it right down the centre of the field. They're using intelligent handball, and they're finding the man with the ball, and that is a classic example. Taylor quickly off to Kluzik. He has three goals from 3 kicks, as a matter of fact. Nicely placed to Shackey, and Shackey 2 metres out on the angle marks. So Big Lawrence hasn't been idle tonight either. 2 goals from 5 kicks, and he dominated the early proceedings.
Really like the look of Taylor up forward. Toombs has lifted his game on him, but nonetheless Taylor's done very well. And it seems that the focus has been taken from Matthew Kluzak, whose run and goal kicking has been terrific. Now Shackey.
And Shackey into the open goal, belts in number 3. No, he's missed. Well, you should never guess. Lawrence Shackey, 2 goals, 2 tonight. Valuable recruit, back from the Brisbane Bears. He was recruited to West Torrens back in the early 80s from Richmond, where he kicked 63 goals in the season for the Richmond under-19s. Was a dominant player. He came across to the West Torrens Eagles and did very, very well. And the Bears thought they should recruit him. Well, he failed up there. Somebody tried to pocket a souvenir. I was just about to say that he really couldn't find his niche in the AFL. I think perhaps he just lacked a bit of upper body strength to really mix it with key centre-half backs. And now he finds himself back as a dominant player in the SANFL.
77-18. Toombs goes very long to the far side. Kelly got his hands to it but couldn't hang on. Thomas, Mello, Chapman with him. Good persistence by Mello. Knocks into the path of a teammate. Nothing doing over there at the moment. It's very close to the boundary line. Patterson picked that up nicely from centre wing. Drives long toward right half forward. No mark taken down there by Eames. Did everything bar mark it. And eventually the umpire sorted out a free kick. And it's going Norwood's way. So something promising here. Modra, number 46. Ben Modra. 17 games in about 5 seasons. Kicks into the forward pocket. Nice knock there from Shane Brewer. Out of bounds, right forward pocket. 77-18. We've played almost 19 minutes.
Norwood getting a lift from several players at the moment. Keith Thomas has lifted through the midfield. Craig Barnes doing well at centre-half back. Young Eames isn't doing a bad job either, but they need more, Norwood.
Yes, this game coming to you live and exclusive on ABC Sport right around the state. The ball comes back into play. It's been a terrific night just to feel your way into the SANFL. The Eagles have played a terrific brand of football. Earlier in the night we saw a low-scoring contest between North Adelaide and West Adelaide. Modra gets clear. Mello feeds the ball out. This is Matthew Kelly, Pro Squad member. Handballs inboard. This is number 30, Michael Thompson. A high ball forward. Good spoil from behind. Now, only stolen by Dolan, but back in the goal square, it's big David Neiman. The big fellow's done pretty well since replacing Romano Negri and Ruck. They've oscillated between the bench and Rucking. Keith Thomas, he's just finding a bit of form in this match. Good clash of players, and who comes up with it? The nuggety little Brett James. Around the corner he goes, just offline, through for one behind. So Norwood 2 goals, 7-19, a very low-scoring effort. The Eagles 12 goals, 5-77. And I suppose we should question how advanced they are in their preparation. It is very early in the season, and remember that the first match doesn't start until April the 3rd. So there's a fair way to go.
So Geyer clears from half back up towards centre wing on this western side. Thomas showing a bit of pace. Well, he got caught there. Tackle did look to be a little high. The Eagles go into attack. Down there is Taylor. Now he's got a big chance. He doubles back on Toombs. Hand pass across to his teammate. They should score from here, Hannon, and he has. Another one to the Eagles. They're 13 goals 5 to 2 goals 7.
Keith Thomas will be very pleased to hear you say that he's got some pace in the midfield. He's one of the Norwood players who has lifted in the midfield, trying to give his side some bite, but on this occasion he just couldn't control it. Look at the numbers around the ball there. One Norwood player, 4 Eagles players at least. Taylor underneath the ball, but turned very well. An agile man is Andrew Taylor for a big man. And on the run, the handball on the up, if you like, and the goal scored by Hannum. A good goal, even though in hot pursuit by Matthew Kelly. And the Eagles go further ahead.
13-5 to 2 goals 7. It is a possession. And the frightening thought is that the Eagles are doing this without their leading goal scorer of last year, Scott Morfitt, who had an ankle operation just a couple of days ago, and not a serious one. He'll be back. They're still to get Andrew Rogers, who's getting married in Geelong on Sunday, and will be back in a couple of weeks. And Stuart Nicol, their dominant ruckman of last season, hasn't returned yet from Melbourne. And then you can throw in blokes like Simon Neve, who are pretty handy players, Michael Tobias and Matthew James, who just haven't come up yet this early in the season. So fair bit of depth at the Eagles, and still, let's say that for the Redlegs, they also have some players out. We'll cover that in just a moment. Brewer. His first quarter was terrific. His third quarter has been solid. Tate. Well, that's one of his rare errors. Mello stole that ball, drives towards goals, and have they got a goal, the Redlegs? Yes, they have. So Damien Mello boots his first for the afternoon. He missed a good part of the season last year with a groin injury, then a shoulder injury, now back for the Redlegs, so he's almost like a recruit. And the Redlegs advance to 3 goals 7, the Eagles 13 goals 5.
He's a very speedy wingman, is Damien Mello. As he came through there, took possession of the ball, turned the ball over, and had the presence of mind to settle and kick the goal. He's done very well. My mind turned to David Payne just a moment ago, convinced to play on in his 10th year and looking at his 200th game. They need some spark from him through half forward.
83 to 25, 22, almost 23 minutes gone in the third quarter. And Norwood go forward again. We haven't seen this too many times. Up onto their half forward line, they storm after it. Dolan, Mello, Kennedy's with him, and Mello just forces it out in the right forward pocket, or between the half forward line and the right forward pocket.
Very interesting. The Eagles are forcing the Redlegs wide to the boundary every time they're going forward, and yet the Eagles are able to find passages right down the centre corridor, and Bruce Winter really couldn't be any happier, I think, with the effort of his young Eagles at this stage.
Mello kicks into the forward lines once again. Can they make something of this? The Eagles having to get back and defend. They haven't had to do this too many times. Neiman, I should say, and that was Kennedy. And it's three-quarter time. It's a 58-point margin. The Eagles lead 13-5 to 3-7. 58 points, the lead by the Eagles.
And of course it was a better quarter by Norwood. Unfortunately they couldn't outscore the Eagles in the end, but a better quarter from them. They had some elevated work right through the midfield with Keith Thomas, with Eames, with Baum doing some good work in defence. But at the same time, the Eagles still attacked incessantly. They had Kluzek on the half-forward line, or the full-forward line, doing very well. And every time the Eagles went inside of their forward line, they looked dangerous, and they scored pretty much at ease once it went inside of their 50-metre line. I should think at three-quarter time now that Neil Craig will be saying to his players, we've got to get something out of this game. Really, let's have a look at it from the point of view of putting some plays together and see if we can't come up with a decent score.
So in the third quarter, the Redlegs were able to advance by only 1 goal 2. The Eagles advanced by 5 goals 1. At three-quarter time, the Eagles 13 goals 5, 83. The Redlegs 3 goals 7, 25. You're watching the Foundation Cup series exclusively and live on ABC Sport.
I heard a rumour that she's going on television with her own show.
Really?
I always liked her, even though she was rather risque at times.
Oh, quite.
She did bring a bit of life into this town, though.
She certainly did. Who on earth are we talking about?
Next week on South Australia's 7:30 report, Our state is playing a vital role in the election campaign. We look at one coastal seat that has a split personality. It's both Liberal and Labor. And culling the koalas. They're still cute and sometimes cuddly, but in parts of South Australia there are simply too many of them.
Our state, our stories, the 7:30 report.
So it's a drubbing, 13-5, 80. Who's speaking to a man on the boundary line who's made a comeback.
Yes, John Martin gave away footy a couple of years ago from the Woodville Football Club at that time. John, what prompted the comeback?
Well, it was mainly just missing it so much. I had a couple of years off because of injuries and work commitments, and I was playing at Edwardstown last year, and Andrew Taylor came out and watched me for a couple of games and said, why not give it another go? So I decided to do all the pre-season, which I have, and just see how things go from here.
You're optimistic that you can get your way back into the side, John? They look pretty awesome tonight.
Well, I was pretty optimistic until coming out here tonight. I mean, no one's played badly, everyone's played very well, and you've just got to keep plugging away.
Having come back to the club and gone through that pre-season work, John, what sort of a difference have you found in actually the pace of the game, even in the trial matches that the club has played?
I feel I might have lost a yard or two, but I feel that the younger players, 17, 18-year-old lads, are just so fit and so quick and so strong compared to when I was that age. I was kicking the dew off in SAFA games and scoring a little kid. I feel that the kids are so much more developed now.
As far as your own form is concerned, John, have you been happy with the way you put it together so far?
So far I'm happy, yes. No injuries, and probably the fittest I've been for a long time. So far so good.
Not too many make a comeback at the age of 27, all that successfully. John, good luck.
Thanks a lot, Niffa.
David Christie down there on the boundary line, 83-25, David Mackay.
Mark, I left out one goal scorer too. We can't have that. Stephen Ziller has also kicked a goal, number 53 for the Eagles. I was leaning on his score, unfortunately, at the time, but he's been a pretty handy player off the wing, so we shouldn't forget his contribution. So we're into the final term, live and exclusive on ABC Sport. The final term, Norwood and the Eagles from Football Park, round one of the Foundation Cup. And what a fine opening to the season it's been, particularly by the Eagles. In ruck, Romano Negri coming from the right of screen. The big man has done well in the internal trials. Michael Thompson in ruck for the Redlegs. The two big men will go hard at it, but can the Redlegs put up a credible performance in this final quarter? The Eagles have been tackling vigorously, handballing particularly well in close quarters, and they really have mesmerised the Redlegs. Let's see how it unfolds. Umpire Mark Westgarth just waiting. Stephen, it would be very interesting just to see what the Redlegs can do.
Well, they need a good start here, and I'm sure that Neil Craig would have told his players to play their game plan, to put their bodies on the line with the ball and really attack that full face of the goal.
So 58 points the margin as Mark Hannam gets it off to Clem. Clem in turn found Totham. Now it's McInerney in the number vacated by Robert Pineham, and goodness me, the Eagles have got a goal in the opening seconds of this quarter, and a terrific start for them. McInerney it was who fed the ball forward right through the goals, and that's his first.
Yes, you heard John Martin talk at three-quarter time about the body strength and the fitness of the Eagles. I think you saw a classic example of it there, where no clear possession from the centre of the ground, but certainly some hard body work. Saw the ball going forward, and finally McInerney ended up with the goal, ended up on the end of it. But the midfield work was terrific from the Eagles, and they march on.
Well, that's the start that Norwood didn't want. 14-5 to 3 goals, 7, 89-25, and we played just under a minute, so I don't think Neil Craig would be too happy with that. That is for sure and certain. Stephen Patterson kicks toward full forward. Eames was down there, couldn't control the mark. Clem shoots out a long hand pass. The Eagles have been very good in defence. They've been very cool and calm under pressure. Philippo's kick to left half full. There's a terrific mark down there taken by Matthew Kluzak. He's done some good things tonight, hasn't he?
What he's done with tremendous style.
3 goals, 1 on the second, 2 on the third. That kick, not quite enough carry. And Thompson's able to short-circuit it. It was meant for Shackey. Toombs, who's an impressive character, tall and well-built. Good mark, excellent mark taken down there by Mark Kennedy, captain the reserve side last year.
And the best and fairest.
It was an excellent mark in front of James. This is Romano Negri, not hard to pick up. He's the tallest man on the ground, probably the tallest man in the stadium. Kicks to full forward. Oh, terrific mark over the top by Thompson. Well, that's a bit inspirational, isn't it? I wonder if Norwood can learn from that or can glean something from that. There's another fine mark under a bit of pressure. Play on. No, the umpire says come on back, and the Billy Dolan's going to take the ball from halfback.
Former Broken Hill boy with the mark, but what about this Thompson? Just set himself, and once he fills out, he could be a dominating player. He's just still that little bit thin for league football. He needs to get into a very serious weight program. He could be anything. Oh,
Same sort of program you've been on, David?
Well, perhaps.
Or perhaps not as intense.
Perhaps not as intense. I'm a bit too big. Now, this is Freeborn.
He could be a wrestler.
A sumo wrestler. And Jamie Tate goes to half forward. What a beautiful kick that was. Shackey provided the option. He called for that ball, Lauren Shackey, and made the ground to get there, and Jamie Tate didn't disappoint. He put the ball right in the running path, and Lauren Shackey, with 2 goals too already from 6 kicks, has indicated enough tonight that he's going to be a handy recruit back to the Eagles. So 35 metres out on a slight angle. Lauren Shackey. Well, what's happening here? There's a player inside the 10-metre radius, but it's a Norwood player in Dan Tocky, but he was with Tottenham, and the umpire said that's fine, that's quite allowed. There's not 2 men on the mark, and Lauren Shackey shoots for goal number 3. It's across the face of goal. It might not even score. In fact, it might be out of bounds on the full. No, it's a mark. Well taken by Robert, now having a run on the ball.
Drafted by Hawthorn, 14-5 to 3-7. And, well, we've said they've dominated the Eagles. It has been a procession. We've said it a number of times, but it has been the case. Here's Freeborn from the left forward pocket, kicks across the face of goal, and there's a mark down there to Shackey. Well, that was clever football in the end.
And Shackey continues to provide a headache for Norwood. He's very active up forward. He's not only a very, very big man, and some good skills too, as you see there from that take, but he really is a very athletic man as well. He'll go back and take his shot from just 10 metres out.
Has 2, should get 3 here, surely. And has. He's drilled it straight through. So 3 to Shackey, 15-5 the Eagles, Norwood at 3-7.
You saw Jonathan Toombs, the fullback, just in your picture there. He's having a torrid time tonight. He's played pretty well, though, in most parts. As we see the ball come around the boundary line from Freeborn, and Taylor gets the front position. As we said, Toombs under some pressure tonight, and Shackey, the good mark, goes back and kicks the goal. If I can bring one out of the woodwork for you, Jonathan Toombs reminds me very much of a Sturt player of the early 80s, and that's Robbie McGarry, for those of you who can remember him.
I was about to say I'm not that old, but I'm afraid I am. Back at the centre. 15 goals, 5 the Eagles. Norwood 3 goals, 7, 25. Romano Negri still in ruck. But this is Brett James. There's no doubt he's the Redlegs' best player. Pretty clear cut, kick number 9 for him. And this is a mark by Anthony Eames. Showed a bit of prominence. Kick number 4 early in the game. Then spent a bit of time on the interchange bench. And now making sure that the boot straps are done up in a deliberate shot for goal. So he's not going to take any chances. 5 minutes into the final term. And the former VFA player now recruited to the parade. Lines up from, he'll kick from about 50 metres, so it will take his best kick. I haven't seen much penetration. Well, he looked to play on and he made it all so hard. It is a different standard, perhaps. It'll take him a little while to get used to it. Matthew Kelly mops up and drills the ball long through for, no, it hit the point post, in fact, so it's out of bounds on the full.
Well, it's a former Crow player, Eddie Hocking's favourite little lurk, that one, to run around the player on the mark. Eames tried it on, and as David said to you, it's a different competition. He got himself caught, but he'll adapt, Eames. He's done some very useful things tonight.
Philippo's kick, he got to good distance with it, but the umpires come across and sorted out a free kick.
And the Eagles have moved Taylor out to centre half forward and Shackey to full forward, so already the Eagles showing their versatility early in the season.
Good 2-prong attack, isn't it? Negri, long kick. out very wide there. Player Taylor just forced off the ball there. Now Chapman. Oh, they've got a big chance to score here. Already one goal, and it's McEnany has two. So McEnany gets his second, and it's 16-5 to 3-7.
Plenty of options up forward still, the Eagles, and McEnany scored his second goal there, as we heard Mark Hastings say. Watch the build-up. The handball's good and straight to the body. Gives McEnany every chance and on the run, and not a defender in sight from Norwood. On the attack, Norwood, but unfortunately when the ball turned over, it hurt them. McEnany finished it off very well, playing well through half forward tonight.
A remarkable 76-point margin to the Eagles in this Foundation Cup. In fact, I don't think they even scored anything like that in their 2 wins and 2 losses in the Foundation Cup last year. They didn't. They're 16-5. The Redlegs 3-7. Zilla pulled off the ball. Romano Nigrigi showed some agility for a big man tonight. Now that was Kennedy driving the ball forward. Shaki on the half volley. Met solidly. Well done, Binder. Geez, a solid chap. He held the ball, then just gave it away. He was looking for the wrong option. Kluzek over the top. This is also easy. Shaki for goal number 4. Into the open goal. Bang it goes. Very easy.
For his 3rd goal too for Lawrence Shaki. 4th goal in fact for Lawrence Shaki. And I can tell you that the Neil Craig philosophy is one of reflex handball and run. But at the moment out of the centre square, we don't see it in the build-up to this. Lucky not to be penalised for a throw there. But you can see in the build-up just before that the reflex from the Eagles has been terrific. We've spoken already of their body strength. We've spoken of the potent attack that they've got. And the reflex work that culminated in that goal was absolutely superb.
107 to 25, almost 8 minutes. Last quarter. So Norwood will go home with their tails between their legs tonight.
And Mark, I've got to give you this statistic. Ian Mogridge, our statistician, has just given me a beauty. Lawrence Shaki kicked 25 goals for Essendon under-19s versus Sydney, including 14 in the last quarter. So he's a bloke who knows how to kick goals. That's a remarkable achievement. Just an aside.
17-5 to 3-7. I wonder if he'll kick 14 in the last quarter here. He's got it again.
Well, he's got 2. So this might make 3. He has 4 for the night, and it could make 5. Long way to go to 25, of course. 8.5 minutes in.
So Lawrence Shaki lining them up once again. And what a marvellous forward line this has been. Taylor and Shaki taking plenty of time from about 40 metres. Long drop punt. Got the distance okay. It's offline to the right.
You should be disappointed with that one. Lawrence Shaki has provided a headache for Norwood tonight. And when you consider that Shaki, Kluzek, Filippo, and still to come back into the side, Rogers and another forward in Morford, their top goal scorer from last year. It looks pretty good for the Eagles.
Well, just having a look at their goal scorers from last year, they're missing Morford, who kicked 52. Neiman's played in ruck and off the bench, so he hasn't had a... Taylor with 41 goals is the only bloke who kicked a swag last year playing on the forward line. Clem is roving, he kicked 24, and Neve is not playing tonight, he kicked 23, and Filippo, the other leading forward last year with 22, playing from centre-half forward, tonight's playing at centre-half back. Now, this is Matthew Kelly through half forward, a beautifully dispatched kick. The target was Modric, couldn't complete the grab. It was Dantokia to Vodasevic. Now Modric again, 55 out. It's a long ball. Romano Negri did well, the big fellow, but Keith Thomas did almost better. But again, desperate work on the last line of defence, and that was Hannum. That's Sean Hannum.
Just lost sight of it here, Robbie, didn't he? He thought he had it covered and just lost sight of the footy.
Long way down.
He did, and David Payne, of course, was the player that dribbled that one through. Keith Thomas in the midfield playing very well, and David Payne needs to provide some spark for Norwood.
Straight down the centre. Number 5 for the Eagles is Jamie Tate. Out wide it goes. Now Schwarz, he's a long way down from defence. Has a couple of bounces. He's heading goalward. Long kick. Looking for Taylor down there. No mark taken. Clem, bang, another one. Terrific stuff. 2 goals to Clem. 18-6, 3-8, and we've played 10.5 minutes.
With his 14th kick for the night, a very busy night for Darren Clem. Bustled his way through the pack here. Watch the high ball come in, and we spoke just a moment ago about the strength. Watch this as Clem comes through. The tackle was laid and the tackle was lost. Three Norwood players there surrounding Darren Clem. Still he found a path through and scored himself a goal on the left leg. Terrific work, Darren Clem, and terrific work from the Eagles as Alan Schwartz built up on the wing. Unfortunately, Norwood look as though they've just lost the edge at the moment in terms of attack on the ball, and the Eagles taking full advantage.
So 18 goals, 6, 114 the Eagles. Norwood 3 goals, 8, 26. And the Eagles lead by 88 points. What a remarkable performance at centre field. It's a red leg free kick. This is Eames. Well, again, he's just undecided where to go. There must be no talk out there, Triggy.
No, I suspect that the pressure that they're under, though, is creating some panic in their own minds. There's a confusion in the mind about when and where to give the ball cleanly. They haven't got the runners that they'd like, and at the moment it's a very stilted performance in terms of the reflex and run game.
Well, Neil Craig has lamented Michael Aish not playing tonight. They almost lost Keith Thomas to retirement, and he lamented that they really were lacking on-field leaders last year, and maybe that's true tonight. They just need the leadership capabilities of Gary McIntosh and perhaps a few others. Michael Aish to come back. But they've lost Martin Pike Malloy, Lester Ross, who's off coaching, and Froggy Murdoch, who's also coaching.
See, Neil Craig must be absolutely shattered after this performance, because we were saying earlier on, David, that they'd done an enormous amount of pre-season work and really got themselves fit.
On paper, they looked good.
Yes, you're right. Very disappointing. Very disappointing indeed.
Well, Bruce Winter wouldn't be unhappy with this in his first senior coaching game.
And I can tell you he wouldn't be upset with Paul McEnany either, who's been a terrific contributor.
Well, there's been 22 guys. When the season starts, he's got to try and fit 20 in to a side. And he's got about 4 or 5 key players sideline. What a terrific position to be in.
Mello in the back pocket. Oh, look at that. Once again, indicative of the way they're going. Hannam kicks to a more central location, just to put under a bit too much pressure in the end. Round the corner. Good effort. Oh, Kluzak. Terrific stuff. And he's just hit the post. Yes, David Mackay can't believe it. Had the 4 fingers up indicating 4 goals, but he's hit the post.
In fact, touched off the boot, I think.
Oh, was it?
As
Yes.
the ball came off the Norwood defender's hands. You see the interchange taking place there. Modra coming off of the ground. Kick in now towards Mello.
And Sam Smart coming on. Mello manhandled, pushed in the back by Kennedy, said the umpire. Now, make no mistake, Kennedy's done a pretty good job for the Eagles tonight too. Kick number 11 for Mello. Romano Negri, 2 hands to that ball. Brett James, gee, wouldn't you like to bottle him? Been their dominant player tonight. Keith Thomas hasn't done a bad job either. They'd be high amongst the Redlegs best. And FAD has taken grounds Thomas after he kicked the ball. And it's big Sam Smart with the free kick from full forward. Kick number 2 for the big fellow. 40 metres out directly in front. He'll punch it low. Oh, almost a mark taken by Eames, but play on is the call, and a throw in as the crowd just wait for the end of this match. And they must be Eagle supporters. They'd be pretty happy.
Roger in your screen. Looks as though he has a groin problem at the moment. See the ice pack out there. Negri and Smart.
Yes, Negri off the ground. Done pretty well, the big man. They told me his performances in internal trials have been terrific, and you've got to regard that. Brewer got it away to Filippo, put Brewer high amongst the Eagles' better players too. He's done a terrific job. And Thompson marks in front of Taylor. In the end, he's marked pretty well.
He has done well, Thompson. He plays the back play very well. He sits himself back and kicking a little bit behind the play. We've spoken about his weight. Seems to me, and as you see him backing up there, he's a very agile player, drives the ball forward. He's a very agile player, he's got some good skills. And it may be, of course, in the long run, that weight isn't required, so long as he uses his body well in the boundary throws.
Shane Brewer with a good kick out wide, finds Totham. Had Pays going past, eventually goes out wide to Hannam. This is Sean Hannam. Long kick from centre wing. Outstorms Shackey. Had 2 to beat, and what a wonderful mark that was. Perhaps the best mark of the night. Have a look at this.
Well, we've spoken about it already. He had one player coming back at him in Jonathan Robin. He had his immediate opponent in Toombs there on him. And still Lawrence Shackey took a very strong mark. They're the better marks in football. 2 opponents and very strong hands.
Shackey with 4 goals, 3 tonight. Completes the goal. That's 5 goals, 3 to him. So the Eagles advance now to 19 goals, 7. What a wonderful, wonderful performance. 121 points. Norwood 3 goals, 8, 26. And they'll almost get 100 points clear, the Eagles, if this continues.
I'm sure that Andrew Taylor at the moment would be saying, why aren't I at full forward? There are plenty of opportunities coming deep into the throat of the goal for the Eagles at the moment. Shackey's reaping the rewards as you saw him putting through his 5th goal on that occasion.
So back at the centre as Shackey gathers in a well-earned drink. The Eagles 19-7, Norwood 3 goals 8. This is Tate. Pretty impressive youngster in his own right. Zilla. His brother won the reserves, McGarry, so they're a pretty talented family, this Zilla family. Freeborn nicely placed. This is Totham at half forward, distributes it nicely forward. Taylor one-handed attempt, pursued by Robert. Now Kluzak. He's done real well tonight. Star of the future. Now Clem over the top, nicely placed. Taylor dribbles it into the open goal, and Taylor belts it through. In fact, he dribbles it through. 2 goals on the board to Andrew Taylor. Been a pretty welcome return. He also had a stint in the AFL with Footscray, then came to Woodville, then went up to the Bears, came back to the Eagles last year, and he really made his presence felt. And now with goal number 2, seals the fate completely of the Redlegs.
You can see his persistence just before that piece of play, and the ball ultimately coming to him for the goal. Strong body work to get the ball out to a teammate, followed it up with the goal. Jonathan Robert not having a good time at the moment standing either of those key forwards up the front for the Eagles.
20 goals 7 to 3 goals 8 again at centre field. Now this is Matthew Kelly. He goes to ground. The umpire said it was held to him, and there'll be a bounce. Ron Bettridge. Coverage of the Foundation Cup right throughout the series will come to you live and exclusive on ABC Sport. We'll be covering every game except the one at Kangaroo Island tomorrow on Sunday. Bam. It's a long ball, and that's what he can kick very, very well. It's registered a point. 3 goals 9, 27 Norwood. The Eagles 20 goals 7, 127.
Well and truly into the last quarter now. Freeborn for the Eagles. Half back. Gets on with it pretty quickly. Kicks toward the wing on the eastern side of the ground. Taylor's down there. Out very wide. Zimmerman. It's the hand pass through the traffic. Did okay in the end. Away they go. Norwood through Binder. Long kick up towards centre half forward. A lot of Eagles players down there. The defence is okay. It was Pays, Filippo, taking a while to get rid of it. Eventually they go back and forth. A series of hand passes. It ends up with Pays, half back, into the centre square at least. Chance now for Dantokia. Over the top he goes. Can Norwood mount something now? Patterson, awkward kick. Inside 50. Oh, strong tackling down there. That was Eames. Now Payne has a look at the goal. It's swinging back, and he's just missed to the left-hand side. A promising build-up, but there haven't been anywhere near enough of them.
No, disappointing for Norwood to finish that off. Just a couple of glum faces on the boundary line there. We saw Andrew Pays in your picture just a moment ago. He has played out of the uncustomary position of back flank tonight, and been one of the quieter contributors, but nonetheless has done his job.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a good comment on a lot of the Eagle defenders. What they've done very well. They haven't had a lot to do. The ball hasn't been down on the Norwood forward line much. Gary McIntosh, what a welcome player he'd be. And Phil Gallagher, if we could just get him fit and back in a red leg jumper, wouldn't it be wonderful? Looks about my size Guernsey at the moment, Phil. Romano Negri really trying to cement his position in this side. Shows boundless enthusiasm.
Well, we spoke before about his height. He's by far and away the tallest man in the competition. And a disappointing season in 1992. We've spoken also of the fact that he's had a very good preparation for 93. He's played a very promising game tonight. Looking forward to bigger and better things this season.
Well, the Eagles are going to have to work it out. They've got Stuart Nicol waiting to come back, who was their key ruckman last year. Romano Negri spent most of the year in the reserves as Taylor kicks out of bounds on the full. David Neiman is staking a claim to the #1 rocking position, and he could well be needed in that position with Shackey and Taylor holding down the key forward spots, and Neiman, of course, played in those positions last year. So, oh, Kennedy, what a great mark. He took it in one grab and played on quickly. What a terrific bit of athleticism.
And also a bit of wastage, David. Toombs did well to take the mark, took off, but the disposal was wasted.
Yeah, but look at the Redlegs. They're going right across the field. The Eagles have played direct football. Binder forced onto the boundary again. It's been a feature of the Eagles' play tonight. Brett James, terrific contributor. Thomas.
Best player for Norwood tonight.
Thomas or Brett Thomas?
Brett James.
Brett James, of correction. Yes, Thomas has been a good player too, but I think quite right. Brett James, easily the best. But what about that mark of Mark Kennedy? I still revel in that. Just terrific.
Best mark of the year.
Oh, no.
Locally.
Well, it's the best mark of the night, perhaps. But I take your point. I think the thing about it was that he showed terrific balance when he came down. He was still holding his feet, and that's what coaches will always require of players, to hold their feet and give the ball off quickly. There he is again, combining with Jamie Tate, was it? No, it was Paul Chapman. Back with Kelly. Great tackle. Kluzek is good work. So the Redlegs have been forced under pressure into errors all night. Binder, well, he's missed a couple of those. Solid player, but just hasn't been able to hold the ball. Damien Mello, a long ball inboard. Now this is Billy Dolan. He's caught with the ball, shovels it out the back door. Quickly forward, Mark Hannum. Chapman, Brewer. Hasn't he been a good player, Brewer? Clem hasn't done a bad job. Chapman, a rare mistake tonight for him. Went to deliver it short, was the wrong option. And Billy Dolan comes up with the ball, but he got tripped at the umpire, and there will be a free kick.
It's unfortunate because the Kennedy tackle on the wing was terrific, and it's an example of what some coaches might call the one percenters. The tackling, the smothering, the spoiling. It's been terrific from the Eagles tonight.
Barmy and Romano Negri just on behind play. Gee, Romano's mixing it up too. He's taking on Barmy. Well, I never thought I'd see that, but he has. He's really let him have it. Well, well, well. Just goes to show, Romano, when you want your place in the side, what you'll do. And have a look at the big fellow.
He's really going for it.
He is. Well, well. Oh, Barmy just let Filippo have one too. So Craig Barm, not pleased with what transpired there. And if you don't think this game is not serious, have another look.
So Toombs,
who'd taken a terrific mark at fullback while that was going on.
Just slowing things down a bit. Kelly's in the hands of the trainer as well. Bozovic, nice sidestep. Kicks toward the western wing. It's rolling out of bounds.
There's Matthew Kelly in trouble on your screen there at the moment. I suspect that if Norwood needed some of that sort of spirit, they needed it probably an hour and a half ago. Boundsby throwing.
23 minutes gone. Might be quite right in that estimation. But it's Tottenham trying to force the ball forward. Eames went in solidly. Now Brett James did it well. Cleverly put. Steve Patterson. Rare touch since half-time for him. Forward go the Redlegs. Payne, Barm, getting the Bronx cheers from Eagle fans. Bozovic feeds it out. Thrown away was Eames. Well done, Clem. And the loose ball will go wide to the runner.
And again, that tackling, it really was superb by Clem that time, working back into the defence and set up another attack for the Eagles.
Freeborn goes out very wide. There's a good strong mark taken out there. Zilla gets on with it pretty quickly. Stephen Zilla toward right half forward. Shackey. Hannum overruns it. Picked up quickly though by Kluzak. Kicked off the ground. He has scored another one. Hasn't he starred tonight? 5 goals to Kluzak. Lawrence Shackey, I should say, number 23. 21-7 to 3 goals 10, 133 to 28.
And in the replay, Shackey goes behind. 2 Norwood players overrun the ball with their Eagles opponent. Kluzak on it, the left leg couldn't get through, but Shackey comes through with the soccer, weaves his way through a couple of players and finds the score. And Lawrence Shackey's been a very, very damaging player tonight.
His 6th goal, Shackey. 21 goals, 7. The Eagles. Norwood, 3 goals, 10. The margin now out to 105 points. Who would have believed it? This player, Sean Hannum, over the top to Freeborn, who's been a great player. So the final margin in this match between the Eagles and Norwood, 105 points.
Yes, a terrific effort from the Eagles. A whitewash in the end. And I guess that if you wanted to pinpoint some very good players, it'd be a difficult job because there were so many of them all over the ground, from defence right through the midfield to the attacking zone. But the thing that must be said about the Eagles tonight is that I really like their balance. They have Filippo at centre-half back. Their key positions are well served with Shackey and Taylor. When you consider that Matthew Kluzak kicked his 5 out of the pocket and that they still have Scott Morford, Stuart Nicol and Andrew Rogers to come back into this side, they've got some strength. Bruce Winter must be rubbing his hands together and thinking this is a pretty easy business, this coaching. Conversely for Norwood, they had a couple of very good players in the second half who tried to turn it around for them. Keith Thomas was one, Matthew Kelly was another. And of course, Norwood, a much better side. We talk about those still to come. Michael Aish, Craig McIntosh, Grant Tanner, and the recently recruited Gary Smallridge. So there's plenty of firepower to come for the Norwood side, and they've got a lot of season to come.
21 goals, 7, 133 the Eagles. Norwood 3 goals, 10, 28. What a massive win. And standing by on the boundary line is Nipper Christie.
Yes, thanks, Mark. A tremendous performance by the Eagles, and their coach, Bruce Winter, obviously very pleased, Bruce. But from a coach's point of view, what were the most pleasing aspects of your tonight?
Well, I was actually pleased with two things. One, the physical approach. I thought we really got to the footy pretty, in a really hard fashion. I didn't think we gave Norwood a lot of time to get rid of the ball, so that was pleasing. The second thing that was pleasing was that they maintained their effort right through the whole game. Even though probably at three-quarter time the game was fairly well over, I thought they just kept going and going and going, and that was really pleasing as well.
A win by 105 points is a massive win in anybody's language, but where can you improve?
Well, in actual fact, I thought Norwood crumbed a lot better than us. When the ball came into a contest, I thought that they seemed to get the first bloke there. Fortunately enough, we pushed in hard, were able to retain possession of the ball, but I reckon that crumbing and also our shepherding probably wasn't as good as it should be.
The quickness of the hands was something that was very evident by the Eagles this evening. Were you happy with that, Bruce?
Yeah, I was. I think the other pleasing aspect was that we didn't muck around with it. We gave that first one when it was on, but as soon as the blokes were running straight, they were lifting their eyes and kicking rather than mucking around with the footy, which was good. We were pretty direct.
Lawrence Shackey's performance at centre half forward, his experience coming back from an AFL side, were you pleased with his effort?
Oh, certainly. I mean, we lost 2 players to the AFL, Pyman and Bullis, but we've regained 2 not only very good players, but as you say, very experienced players, and both Lawrence Shackey and Andrew Rogers, I expect, will be real bonuses for us this year.
One of the big pluses last year was the forward setup of the Eagles, and now with Shackey back there, can you see that being as potent as it was last year, perhaps?
Oh, I think so. I mean, we're fortunate in that we've got a number of blokes who can play centre forward. We've got Shackey, we've got Taylor, we've got Primke hanging around. We know that Sam Philippo can play there. So we're blessed in that area. I thought Mark Hannon's effort on a half-forward flank was very good. And I thought the 2 Rovers in the forward pocket were excellent as well.
Bruce, a tremendous performance, and looking for better things and bigger things in the weeks to come. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
At 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, join us for the best in junior tennis. 6 of Australia's top under-18 players fight out a round-robin series for the McDonald's Junior Challenge Trophy. From Centre Court Memorial Drive, Adelaide, see Australia's tennis future in action. Join us 1 o'clock this Saturday on ABC.
She's coming back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
Dunno.
Bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Shackey kicks 6 in a fine performance at centre half forward. 2 goals to Taylor, 3 to Matthew Kluzik, 2 to Paul McEnany, 1 to Freeborn, Neiman, Hannam, Zilla, singles also to Paul Chapman, Stuart Totham,
And right up the top, Darren Clem kicked 2 goals. So it was a pretty comprehensive performance up forward by the Eagles tonight.
Thank you, David. Nipper Christie speaking with Peter Schwarz.
Peter, a tremendous performance. You played in a lot of games against Norwood, but that's the biggest one, I would think. Very happy about it?
Oh, a wrap for a first-up effort. Just great that the boys put in as they did, and their commitment on the ball was fantastic.
Having been out there, Peter, where did you see the most pleasing point of view from a team effort and a leadership point of view?
Probably the fact that the boys all they took it all upon themselves to do the hard things, and the way they attacked the ball and crumbed the packs. Although Norwood crumbed the packs very well as well, but just the overall strength around the ground was tremendous from everybody.
Pretty hard pre-season, no doubt, Peter, under a new coach. Have you noticed any great difference in the style of Bruce Winter compared to Neil Baum?
Probably not at the moment. Bruce has definitely got his own ideas and his own methods of setting up play and everything, but as you say, it is early days, and we've got a long way to go, and it's good to have a bit of a breath of fresh air as well, but Bruce is sort of along the same lines as Neil anyway.
No doubt Norwood are pretty disappointed with their performance, but did it surprise you that they were, well, so poor?
Well, I don't know if they were poor. I mean, we were sort of first to the ball a fair bit tonight, and I was just probably, I don't want to comment on Norwood at all, but just happy with the way that we turned out.
Peter, it was a great performance, and good luck in a few weeks to come.
Thanks a lot, Nip.
Nipper Christie speaking there with the captain of the Eagles, Peter Schwarz. Let's have a look at the scores now in the early game. The Roosters up against the Bloods, 5-10 to 4-9. It was a very low-scoring match. A nice drive, and of course South Adelaide and the Eagles at Kingscote at Kangaroo Island on Sunday. That game starts at 2 o'clock, and that's the only country match the ABC won't be covering.
Well,
David.
Mark, pretty reasonable effort by the Eagles tonight. They did a terrific job. In the finish, you wouldn't have believed they'd have beaten Norwood quite so easily, but we've got plenty of Foundation Cup football right ahead of us. So on behalf of all the ABC team here at Football Park for round 1 of the Foundation Cup, it's a very good night.